Hey, friend. Before we jump into the episode, I need to tell you about something that could change the way that you show up in 2026. Vision Day. This is not your typical goal setting session. It's a half day workshop style reset designed for faith driven women in business who want to get clarity, focus, and a God aligned strategy for the year ahead. We are not just dreaming big, we are breaking it down into quarterly wins that move the needle. You are going to walk away with one clear priority and a flexible plan. Hallelujah. And also the spiritual tools to keep checking in with God and pivoting as needed. And Lord knows we all need to be able to pivot these days. Spots are limited, so grab yours now at jantouchberry.com/vision day. That's jantouchberry.com/vision day. And step into the new year with peace, purpose, and a plan. Let's get into the episode. Hey there, friend. So, I want to ask you a question. I feel like I start every episode with asking a question, but I think that's a good thing. Anyway, today's question. When you think about getting visible in your business, what comes up first for you? Excitement or anxiety, or maybe a little bit of both? It's okay. There's no right or wrong answer to this, and you're not alone in all of the mixed emotions because a lot of the women I coach, they're deeply passionate about what they do. They have a message, a mission, and a heart to serve. But when it comes to putting themselves out there in a strategic and faithful and yet non-exhausting way, that is where the fog starts to roll in. And today we're going to clear the fog a little bit. I hope that is the goal anyway. This episode is all about building what I call your visibility blueprint. That is a plan to expand your reach through strategically kingdom aligned, spirit led collaboration, not just content overload. And we're going to make it super practical. Super practical. So, if you didn't get a chance to listen to the last episode on the visibility mindset, definitely circle back to that after you finish this one, of course. It kind of lays a spiritual foundation for everything we're about to build here. Trust me, you're going to get more out of today's episode if the heart work is fresh on your mind. So go back and listen to that. But first, we're going to dive into this. You ready? Let's go. Truth time. When's the last time you raised your hands for a swift kick in the pants? Well, I'm the no-nonsense type friend who's going to tell you when you have food in your teeth. So let's get right to it. This is your infusion of sacred and secular, calling you higher into who God created you to be, exploring how intimately faith applies to every part of your life, and how you can live that faith every single day in the marketplace. I felt the tension of separation of church and state. I've been one of the few women at a table of men for decades, and I've stood my ground. Are you ready to do the same? These tools, resources, and interviews are meant to do just that. I'm Jan Touchberry, and it's time to share her faith at work. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad that you have found your way back to Her Faith at Work. And if this is perchance your first time here at the podcast, I'm so glad that you are here. Special welcome to you. Today, I'm actually super excited about this episode. I mean, I'm excited about all my episodes, but this one, oh my goodness, I've been working on this for such a long time, and I'm glad that I finally get to kind of birth it out into the world. Today, we are going to do a deep dive on the subject of visibility. Last week we talked a little bit about the heart work behind your visibility, but today, super practical. It's a whole lot more than content calendars and batching posts and just showing up on social. I want to talk to you about what for some of you is going to be a whole new way of thinking about visibility. Might be a little mind blown moment, okay? This episode is, like I said, going to be super practical. So if you're multitasking, by all means, keep listening through. But this may be one that you want to bookmark and come back and re-listen to with a notebook in hand. I do have a little download that you can grab at the end. That's going to be a really good memory jogger for all of the content that I'm going to kind of lay out for you today. But what I want you to know is that you're probably fall into the same category as a lot of the women that I coach. You're already showing up on all your platforms. Okay. You're there. You're posting on social, you're emailing, you're sharing your stories. And yet it feels like you're talking to the same group over and over and over again. I just had a conversation with somebody earlier today saying, I don't know what to do. My email list is shrinking. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast episode, right? Because sometimes it's not bad that your email list is shrinking, but you do want to be expanding your audience. That's kind of what owning a business is about. You want to be getting in front of other people. But if you feel like you're talking to the same group over and over again, it's because visibility strategies tend to kind of stop short. There are a lot of them. I don't want to say all of them, but a lot of them, probably ones that you may know, they're kind of inward facing, right? They keep us stuck in our own bubble, so to speak. But here's what I would like to suggest to you, that visibility should be expansive. And it's not only about the work that you do yourself. It's about collaboration. It's about co-marketing. It's about courageous obedience to get your message in front of the people who need it, even if they're not already in your sphere. So, how the heck do I do that, Jan? It sounds great. Well, I'm glad you asked. You guys probably already know that I'm a bit of a lifelong learner. I love learning new things. Sometimes it's a detriment to me because I'm the person who hears about a new course or something and hops in and then I never implement, or worse even. Oh, I hate to admit this, but I have so many courses that I haven't even finished. I need like to take a full vacation and just finish courses. It would probably be great, but I love learning new things. And I've been learning from other people on the subject of visibility specifically for the last several months. Like I've been a bit ravenous on it. I'm not going to lie. Not in a bad way. It's just something that's very intriguing to me, and I'm tired of trying to do it all on my own when I know that co-marketing can be so powerful and so effective. So this that I'm going to outline for you today is kind of a collation, so to speak, of a bunch of different things that I've heard from a bunch of different people. And I'm putting it together into what I'm going to lay out for you today called the visibility blueprint. Apparently, it's hard to say, so I may need to change the name at some point. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to. Visibility blueprint. So, this is a strategy that focuses on building bridges with other like-minded entrepreneurs so that you can expand your reach and don't feel like you're going to burn out. You're going to be able to serve new audiences with real value. And you're also going to be able to stay rooted in your mission, not just focusing on the algorithm and how to keep up with whatever the latest changes are. Okay. So we're going to break it down. First, you're going to start with mission alignment, and you're going to need to do a little discovery work. So this is not easy, but it will be worth it if you take the time to do it and do it correctly. Okay. So what does discovery work mean? You are going to make a list. All right. You are going to be looking for mission aligned people. You're not just looking for other business owners in your niche. You're looking for women or men, if that's, your brand, who share your heart for kingdom impact. That's super important. I have a dear friend who is, we have had more than one conversation about being unequally yoked with people that we collaborate with. And I'm of the opinion that while sometimes the Lord calls us to collaborate with people who aren't completely aligned with us kingdom wise, because I feel like it can be a ministry opportunity, I also feel that like if I'm going to be doing close work with them and I'm going to be sharing my audience with them, I want to make sure that we both have the same heart for kingdom impact. Okay. So I want you to think about the voices that you're already drawn to. Whose words kind of challenge you? Who consistently shares from a place of integrity and kingdom vision? Who makes you think, oh my gosh, I would love to have a conversation with her? Not just for content, but because you know that you'd create something really meaningful together if you did, right? So you don't need to overthink it. You just need to start with a list of names that come to mind. They may be people you followed for a while on social media or their podcast, somebody that you're on their email list, somebody who recently shared something that just struck a chord. Okay, write the people down. Then you also need to look for people who have businesses and or offers that complement yours well. You don't want it to be competing, but you do want it to be collaborative because the goal here in this co-marketing is that you're sharing audiences and you're adding value to those audiences, right? So you need to be thinking through both lenses, kingdom minded and do they have something, a business or an offer that is going to complement mine well? Be collaborative, but not competitive. Okay. And once you have your list, it doesn't have to be a big list, but hey, if you can write down a big list, hallelujah, because it just gives you more people to contact. I want you to take a minute and I want you to pray over it. I want you to ask God to highlight the relationships that He wants to deepen or open the door for. This is not networking in the traditional sense. Okay. This is kingdom alignment. You are trying to partner with people to grow your audience, but you're also showing up with the heart to serve and to partner in what the Lord is building. I was in a mastermind a couple of years ago, and the prayer that the mastermind leader says on a daily basis is, Lord, place me on the hearts and minds of the people that you would like me to partner with or to cross paths with. And I think that that prayer is something that's really great to pray as you're building this list for kingdom collaboration, so to speak. Okay. Next, there are very strategic ways that we're going to talk about today that you're going to co-market your message. All right. So once you have your list, you have a few aligned people in mind, you can start thinking about how to collaborate in ways that feels mutual. It feels creative. It feels purpose driven. It feels like a win for both of you and both of your audiences. All right. So I want to walk through some options. And as I do, I want you to listen for what lights you up. Okay. Hear me when I say this. Please do not try to do them all, at least not right now. Okay. We're going to slow roll this a little bit. I want you to just ask what feels like a good fit for this season that you're in. Okay. These are going to be a little bit rapid fire, especially if you're listening on 1.5 speed like I do in my podcasts. But remember that you can also get these in the freebie at the end. All right. All right. I want to talk about Instagram live collaborations. So going live with somebody is one of the simplest, most accessible ways to introduce yourself to a new audience. Okay. It's going to build trust quickly because people are seeing you in real time. You get to choose timely topics. You could share personal stories. You could offer practical takeaways. You want to keep it kind of casual. Let it feel like a coffee chat that you're having with your friend that your audience just kind of gets to overhear. All right. And when you go live, the great thing is that both of your audiences are notified, and that alone is a huge boost in visibility. And if the conversation is valuable, people are going to follow you, not just because you were featured, but because they connected with you in some way. They felt seen. All right. Number 2 is podcast guest swaps. All right. This one is gold. I'm doing a lot of these over the next few months. Podcasts are intimate. They are long form content and they are personal. So if you already have a podcast, I want you to think about inviting a few aligned voices onto your podcast and offering to do a guest episode for them in return. That's what a pod swap is, right? They're on yours, you're on theirs. You could even split a 2-part episode, one on your show and one on their show, covering different angles of the same topic. And it kind of creates a sense of continuity that encourages people to follow both shows, which is the point, right? And then if you don't have a podcast, don't tune me out on this. It doesn't need to stop you. You can still pitch yourself to shows that are aligned with your message. You want to make sure that you're offering talking points that will serve their audience, not just promote what you're doing. Okay. If somebody's just promoting what they're doing and I can tell in their pitch that they really don't know anything about my podcast, that's an immediate no for me. You want to make your pitch personal. You want to tell them why you love their show. Side note, please actually listen to their show. I get pitched all the time by these agencies that they listen to part of a show or maybe not even any of the show and they say they do, but clearly they don't understand who I am and who I serve just by what the content of their email pitch is. Don't do that, okay? Let them know why you love their show after you've absolutely listened to a few episodes. Offer it, and then you're going to offer a strategic angle that's going to fit what they're already talking about. And most importantly, you want to show up to serve their audience and serve them really well, okay? That is what is going to cause people to want to go and follow your show or follow you on social media. Okay, deep breath. We're not even halfway finished. I want to talk about email list takeovers. Now, some of you may be scratching your head on this and thinking to yourself, I can't even email my own dang list. How am I going to email somebody else's dang list? Okay, it's okay. This actually could make your email list feel a little less burdensome. All right. Email, I believe, is still one of the most intimate and high converting platforms. And collaboration here is super powerful. You're thinking to yourself, what do you mean by intimate, Jan? People are inviting you into their space. They are opting in to having you come into their inbox, and that matters. All right. So, an email takeover is where you're going to write a message that gets sent to somebody else's list. Usually, it has a soft intro about who you are and what you do, written by the person who owns the list. Okay. What does this look like? Well, it could be a shared story that connects with their audience. Maybe you invite them into your world with a free resource. You can introduce them to a fresh perspective or some encouragement from somebody they trust, i.e., you, right? It's important here to be super generous. Find out from the person who owns the list how you can best be of service and add value to what they're already trying to do and build in their business. All right. This is not about list grabbing or pushing your product. It is about offering value that makes somebody else's day better, period. And that is how you're going to build trust. And I would make this a swap too. Okay. You do an email for their email list, they do an email for your email list. That's where it comes into play that it could make your email list a little less daunting because somebody else is writing for you. Please keep in mind, this is super important, okay? If you have a smaller list, you don't want to pitch this idea to somebody who has a ginormous list because they're going to say no. Let's set yourself up for a win, start small, and let's grow together in this, all right? I'm not saying that you can't pitch people whose lists aren't a little bit larger than yours, who have a little bit larger or more established business, but you just don't want to shoot for the moon, okay? All right, number 4, guest blog posts or article swaps. All right, if writing is your strength, this one is for you. Please do not just chat GPT something and throw it out there. No, you want to do something that is really, really high quality. You're going to first look for aligned websites, blogs, Substack writers whose audience overlaps with yours, okay? You could offer to write a devotional or a practical how to or a thought leadership piece from your unique angle. You could host a guest post on your own blog, right? It's a blog swap, article swap. You might even create a collaborative content series like Faith and Business, 5 Perspectives, where each collaborator shares one post from her lens. So that would be like 5 collaborators. So you would be cross promoted to 5 lists. All right. You're all cross promoting each other. And I actually like that idea so much that I'm going to do it myself. So if you'd like to collaborate on an email series with me, I've made it very easy. You're just going to go to jantouchberry.com/collaborate, not collab. You'll get a different page on my website. So jantouchberry.com/collaborate and fill out the little form there and I will be in touch with you. Okay. This kind of long form content can continue to bring visibility for months or even years because blog posts and article swaps are searchable by Google. Hallelujah. And it also brings your authority with it along the way. All right. Number 5, panel events and roundtables. This one I'm really excited about actually for my own business in the coming months, but this one takes a little bit more coordination, but it can have a Huge impact. Okay. So, what you want to do is gather 3 or 4 like-minded leaders and host a virtual roundtable. It could be a Zoom webinar, it could be a Facebook Live, it could even be a private group event. You're going to choose a theme, something that your audience cares about, is going to add value to them, and you're going to have each person speak into it from her perspective. And then open it up for Q&A or dialogue. Each person invites their community, so the reach multiplies. And when the conversation is meaningful, attendees stick around and they want to follow everybody involved. This really is kingdom visibility at its finest. It's the collective wisdom of kingdom minded people who mutually honor each other and then share their reach. And it's beautiful. I am also going to be doing a few of these in the coming months. So if you'd like to apply to be collaborative in the panel event or roundtable space, again, jantouchberry.com/collaborate. And there's a little form there you can fill out. Okay, last but not least, freebie bundles and lead magnet swaps. This one's cool, especially during launch seasons or low energy periods when you still want to build momentum. Team up with a few like-minded entrepreneurs and create a shared bundle of lead magnets, tools, or short trainings. And in order for people to get the bundle, they have to subscribe, right? So each person promotes the bundle to their audience and everybody gets new aligned subscribers in return. It could be super simple, like a Google Doc or a Notion page of linked freebies. Okay, it does not have to be hard. If you want to up the level a little bit, you do a formal bundle using a platform like Thrivecart. Or if you just want a list swap style, you could do it via email or Instagram stories. It can really be that simple, okay? I did a whole podcast on this with a beautiful woman named Kristen Dronchi earlier this year. So if you have not listened to that episode yet and you find this concept intriguing, go back and check it out because she's brilliant. This is what she does. And that is episode 59, 59. If you decide to participate in one of these, make it easy though, okay? Be generous, but let it feel like a gift, not some gimmick, okay? Be generous, but it doesn't have to be hard, all right? Okay, that's the list. I just want to take a deep breath here, okay? Because I know we're talking about strategy, but I do want to bring it back to the heart, all right? Because this is not just about growth, it really is about stewardship. God has entrusted you with a message, maybe even a movement, but the people who need it most might not be following you yet. They might be following somebody else who's already earned their trust. And when you can collaborate, you're not riding coattails. That's not what I'm talking about here. But when you're really, truly showing up to serve in that space, God can do something really beautiful and He multiplies the impact. So don't dismiss yourself because you don't have a big platform. Start where you are, build relationships, lead with generosity, and trust that God is going to open the right doors. Because visibility in the kingdom is not about being everywhere, but it is about being faithful where He planted you. Okay? So, if you are thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I need all of this, but this was a lot. It's okay. Remember, I promised you that freebie. The visibility blueprint checklist is available. All you have to do is head over to my website. You can grab it at jantouchberry.com/visibility, jantouchberry.com/visibility, and it'll really jumpstart you to building strategic partnerships that are going to be able to grow your reach without draining your energy. And when you hop over there, you'll also get early access to a whole visibility workshop that I'm going to be doing in January, where we're going to build your visibility plan for the whole year. Yep, the whole year, people. jantouchberry.com/visibility. I know you're going to want to get in on that because it's going to be awesome. All right, little recap. So if we were wrapping this up, and we were chatting over coffee, I'd probably lean in and tell you this. You don't have to be the loudest voice in the room, friend, but you do need to be a faithful one. God is not asking you to do this alone. He has already placed people around you who are running in the same direction. People are running in the same direction with you. So just take a step and reach out. propose a conversation, offer value, and trust that the right people are going to say yes. Your voice matters. Your message matters. And someone else's audience might be waiting to hear it. I am cheering you on, friend. That's all I got for you this week, so I'll see you next time. Have a great week. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Her Faith at Work. If the Lord put someone on your heart that you think needs to hear this message today, will you just smash that share button? And if you haven't already followed the show, I would love for you to do that. Super extra points if you hop over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. That helps the algorithm pick us up and drop us right in the AirPods of people that need to hear what the Lord is saying to them today. I hope you'll come back for the next episode of Her Faith at Work. The podcast comes out every Wednesday. And if you look down in the show notes, I've even got a couple of free downloads for you that I think you will really enjoy. With that, have a great week. See you next time.